Good morning. Thank you for coming. I hope that I have an appropriate presentation for the audience of your graduate students or faculty, or possibly may have less to do for K-12 educators, but I think there is some application there. I want to talk about worldwide distribution of your research and scholarly material via your local repository. Okay. The side one, thank you. And it's a wheel, right? I'm just going to hit the enter. No, that doesn't work. Okay. Okay, now you have to show me how. Oh, this way. Okay. All right, this is me, and this is just sort of the logos portion. So absorb that, and I'll move on. We operate out of the library, the UNL Digital Commons, which is our institutional repository. We currently hold about 87,000 total papers, dissertations, theses, scientific articles, technical reports, extension documents, various kinds of things. We have furnished since 2005 almost 38 million downloads. We're currently averaging over 6 million a year, which is about roughly 20,000 a day. Not quite 1,000 an hour, but people have to sleep sometime. That's our URL there, and I won't show it again, but you can find us pretty easy. Just Google it. We are the university's most visited subdomain, and we account at that time we accounted for almost 12% of university web traffic. I don't know, I love that stat. Our content ranks above Elsevier's in search results. And the reason for that is we get more traffic than sites that are behind a paywall and subscription, because we are free. Free full text content to everyone who has an internet connection. That's kind of our business model. Sometimes, not very often, sometimes we even beat Wikipedia. I say sometimes, I mean once. This is a schematic diagram of how we do. Now, I always felt that once you start throwing diagrams in your PowerPoint, you've lost. But I put one in just to show you basically what we do. We take your CV, or your publication list, and then from that we gather your articles and we figure out which ones we can get permission or otherwise to put in our repository. That repository is indexed by Google and Google Scholar, and then sent out to 3 billion internet users worldwide, who then connect to the repository and download the stuff. Now, there's a lot of processes involved with this. It's the major one. I tried to simplify it. Our site looks like this, and I apologize to Dr. Hebitz if you're not. I don't think you're here, but she's here today. But for picking on her. But this is just, if you have more than 50 articles, we'll give you your own series. And this is her series. She's, I don't know, you probably know her, right? She's extremely, she's the world's expert on spider dating. Our site looks like this. Let's see what else. These are downloads. And you'll see that they are all across the map. They're even downloading them in Iceland, where I guess they have spiders in Iceland. And it's global. And we not only do this, we give you this information back. So we not only distribute your stuff, but we give you feedback information on where it's going and what it's doing. And you can, in fact, from this map, you can drill down on any one of those to the village IP level and see what it is that they're downloading there, which is, it's a good way to waste an hour or so sometimes. Now, we can also tell you what institutions these downloads are coming from, and there are 627 of Dr. Hebitz's articles. These are just the top 50. And I think they're very legitimate places, Harvard, Purdue. The ones in blue are international, and I include Canada as international. The ones in red are secondary schools. So we have a fair amount of use from secondary schools of various kinds of materials. And then countries, now I wrote this out, countries, 105 countries. We sent downloads of her articles to these 105, and I crossed out countries because some of them aren't countries. Palestinian territory, I don't think it's a country. I don't want to get into all that. But you know, so they have their own, you know, domain name. So free scientific research gets lots of exposure. And I don't think, you know, and that's a lot of what we do. But free educational resources get even more exposure. So, and I want to talk just a moment about the case of Dr. Katz. Now, there was a cartoon series called Dr. Katz. This is not him. Dr. Robert Katz, and he passed away about 5 years ago. He, born in Brooklyn, went to Brooklyn College, Columbia University Masters, worked with the U.S. Army Research at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base during World War II. He solved the problem that when they flew these long-range bombers from Ohio across Greenland to Europe, they would build up static electricity and all the compasses would go haywire and the planes would get lost. So he figured out how to solve that by, you know, streaming a little, I don't know, and he solved the problem. And he also got involved in X-raying joints and that is welds and machine joints. So he got into X-rays. He got his PhD at University of Illinois. He worked for a long time at Kansas State, and then he came to Nebraska. And he worked for many years at Nebraska, and then he retired at Nebraska, and he worked for NASA. He is the developer of a part of physics called particle track physics. That is, you can track the path of a radioactive particle. And he developed the Katz model for predicting the effects of radiation on biological tissue. And this is extremely important for radiation therapy and other things. You know, it's like shooting a BB at a ball inside a bag of water. You know, how many BBs do you have to shoot to know that you've hit the cell nucleus and, you know, had some effect on that. So he was also, you know, he was no slouch either. He wrote an introduction to special theory of relativity, which is a very short book. And he co-authored with a colleague in 1958 a textbook just titled simply Physics, which has 46 chapters, 3 appendices, and some other things. We have 193 of his publications on our repository. He contacted me because he had seen a video of a presentation I gave to an alumni group. And he didn't get around very well because he had bad knees at that point. He was in his 90s. But so I went to visit him and you know, talked about what we do, and he gave me this stack of offerings. So we worked on those. What do I want to say? He is our most downloaded author. And his numbers, he called me up one day after we'd been working together for about 6 or 8 months, and he said, he'd just gotten his download report, and he said, these numbers are astronomical. Which I thought, coming from a physicist, was pretty good because he really knew what astronomical meant, you know. But it's just incredible. He's our most downloaded author. 11,000 institutions, 201 countries, 600,000 times. And that's Dr. Katz right up there. And this is as of last Wednesday. Most of it is chapters from his physics text. And because we put up each chapter individually, and they're self-contained, and they're extremely rigorous, and they are used extensively by educational institutions in developing countries, because it's a free, authoritative physics text that can be assigned and accessed. So, yeah, this is my moral of the story. If you want to have an impact, you know, there's 2 ways if you're in science. You can make a scientific discovery, or you can create openly available teaching materials. And you can share it. And there's a real need for this. This is a movement that's gaining momentum. The movement for open educational resources. And we would like to support this because it is criminal to charge students $300 for that textbook. And and when it can so much more easily be made available and made adaptable. So I encourage you, if you're teaching, to look for those resources. If you're writing to help develop those resources, even small ones are very useful. And it's not just Nebraska, and this is not just about us and about our repository, because we're just one of a growing number. So no, it's not just Nebraska. That's the answer to your question. It's, Kansas, Iowa State, Iowa, Colorado, Wyoming, our cousins up the road in Omaha, and UNMC, Purdue, Illinois, Michigan, all over the country this is happening. We are one of the more active. But if you're not at this institution but you want to participate, talk to your library. And because this infrastructure exists and it's there to be used. And and just for your own career's sake, getting your work up there and getting that feedback about what it means to other people, and finding out people are just so excited that, gosh, somebody's reading my article. And it's not just young people, it's the emeritus read this anymore. So, oops, that was me. Oops, sorry.
Okay.
Too fast. I'll let you do that.
Yeah, and we've got plenty of time for
So
questions.
that's it. So questions or comments or?
So do you upload only what is produced while someone is at University of Nebraska Lincoln, or even what they've done before they came?
What they've done before. If they ask us, if they leave to go somewhere else and they don't have that service available, we'll even do it after they leave. We're in the, our feeling is we want to facilitate, your professional career. And we want to, the world wants this stuff. And that's who we're thinking of. So it's not just limited to what you, I know some places do that, but that's not our policy. We're more open than that.
So besides articles and textbooks, do you also publish like handouts and like teaching, like made laboratories made by the professor, like some more general teaching?
Some people do, yes, and for example, in industrial engineering or industrial process engineering, we have an entire syllabus full of educational materials. And the math department produces MATLAB and other kinds of papers. We do those. So yes, we love that kind of stuff. So whenever if it's just a simple lab exercise, or if it's a whole lab manual, or if it's just a write-up of an experiment, or whatever, yeah, we're happy to do that. We feel like we're a service. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.